Get all the way to 0 miles an hour, okay? And then we're gonna kind of, ooh, truck spun out a little bit, sorry. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we're gonna be going over a 2022 Ram 1500 Laramie Sport. First and foremost though, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Dodge Ram here in Sandy for giving me some time with the Laramie Sport. Check out their inventory in the link below. Let's get right into the video. So under the hood, we have a naturally aspirated 5.7 liter Hemi V8 that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. This one does have the e-torque system, so fuel economy is 18 around town and then 22 on the highway, with power figures being 395 horsepower and then 410 pound-feet of torque. Now let's go over the front end of the Laramie Sport. So first off, this one's finished in Hydro Blue, which is pretty crazy, out there in your face. We also have one that is finished in Granite Crystal that the Sandy dealership has, and they have one that is finished in Flame Red as well, but I think the Hydro Blue is my favorite one by far. But first off, notice that we've got the Sport hood here, so you've got the venting, we've got the 1500 Hemi e-torque badge there with the center venting, and then we have the full LED lights here. They are reflector lights, and then you have the LEDs at the top and the bottom for accenting. And then part of the Sport package is it does give you chrome logos. You don't get blacked out logos or anything. That would be the night edition you'd have to get, but notice the rest of the grille has been blacked out. And then down here with the bumper, it's body painted, and then also we've got parking sensors here along the bottom portion. No tow hooks, and then you can see the air dam here at the very bottom, and then the fog lights are also LEDs if you were wondering. And other than that, there's your full view with the front end. Now coming around the side here, we've got two 75mm tires wrapped on 20-inch wheels in the front and over in the rear as well. And then this particular truck just has the standard suspension, no air suspension or anything like that. And then a closer look at the wheels, you can see how they have the brighter chrome right there on the top portion of the wheel, which actually matches the badging. And then here's a quick look at the front suspension with the truck. And then part of the Laramie package, they actually have the fender flares with this package. Gives it a little bit of a beefier aesthetic. And then notice that the mirror is body painted, but you've got the black there at the bottom, which creates some nice contrast. And then also around the windows as well. And then here's kind of your full side view on the truck. And then if we actually pop here to the back, got the Sport logo there on the back. And then you guys can see this one has the optional wheelhouse liner added to it. And then as with all the other Rams, you have the 5-link coil suspension in the back end, but the wheelhouse liner kind of hides it. Now here's our key fob. Notice we got the Ram logo on the back. You've got the unlock, the lock, the drop down for the tailgate, and the remote start, which, speaking of the tailgate, we have a payload capacity of 1,524 pounds. Now this one doesn't have a liner from the factory. You can add it as an option or you can get it after the fact, pretty easy. And then look at the design there for the cargo light now for the 22 model year. And then this one does not have the bed utility group, so you don't have any LED bed lights or anything like that. But funny enough, you can actually add it in after the fact now, which is definitely nice. And then lifting up the tailgate, you actually have to lift it up yourself, but it's actually pretty light. Now finishing things here in the rear, notice again the chrome badging that comes with the Sport package. If you don't want chrome badging, you're gonna have to go for a night edition, and then that'll make all of the badges blacked out. And then as for the taillights, we've got the LEDs here in the back. And then again, with the night edition, this part would be darkened, whereas on the Sport, it's just regular Laramie LED lights. And then notice we got the chrome exhaust tips here at the bottom with all of the parking sensors. Towing capacity with this particular truck is right around 11,000 pounds, and that's all for the rear. Now here's the door panel in the back. So first off, notice we've got the leather with the stitching, and then down below we've got the suede and then the blacked out trim. This gets blacked out as part of the Sport package. And then we've got more leather trim down below. One of the speakers for the sound system, we'll get into that in a little bit. Notice we have the Ram plaque, and then we have the ice buckets here in the back, aka the beer buckets. And then here are the seats in the back. So you've got the suede, and then you got the perforated leather all down the center. And then notice here with the cup holder area, it's all blacked out. And they got some USBs and then a full power outlet. And then this one does have the recline seat function. And then lifting up the seat, you can see it's got a flat loading floor. And aside from that, that is everything for the rear. Now here's the door panel at the front. So again, material use is identical to what you have in the rear. And then here's a quick look at the mirrors on this particular truck. This one is not equipped with blind spot monitoring. But notice down below, we've got the memory seat function, all of our window controls. These mirrors do power fold in, and then another speaker for the sound system. Now this particular one has the Alpine sound system. And popping over here to the front seat, so again, you've got the leather, notice the piping, Laramie logo, and then all of the suede here on the side, and then with the bolstering and then the perforated leather down the center portion of the seat. And then you've got all of your adjustments here, including the lumbar. And then there's a quick look at the pedals. You've got the pedal adjustment right here with the parking brake, all of our light controls. That's for the fog light, that's the cargo light. Steering wheel is manually adjustable, and there's one more look before we pop in. Here's the steering wheel at the front with the Laramie. Notice again, we've got all the leather all around, and then you've got the blacked out stitching right here. And then we've got our gear limiter. We've got the cruise control over here with the controls for the center stack voice command controls, volume and radio controls there on the back. Got your turn signal / windshield wiper stock, and that's everything for the steering wheel. Here is the center gauge cluster. Notice you got the RPMs on the left side, on the right side you've got the speed, and then you can scroll through all these different menus. Not much has actually changed, and by the way, that fuel economy is not accurate. The truck obviously still has to brake in and all that kind of stuff, but aside from that, they haven't really changed all that much with the look or anything, and so it's still is just the same as it was before. So first off, we're gonna go over the controls around the 12-inch display. So you've got the hazard lights right here, and then we have the analog climb controls down on these sides, and then radio controls on either side. And then here at the very bottom, we've got our trailer brake control. You've got the stability control, the tow haul mode, and then both parking sensor buttons. This just turns those systems off. So if it's illuminated, that means the parking sensors are off. And then here is the 12-inch display. So first off, we pop it into reverse. Notice we've got the backup camera with trajectory lines that do turn with the steering wheel. And then you can zoom in right there with the receiver hitch. And then aside from that, as for the rest of the 12-inch display, this is the thing they've updated for the 2022 model year. Some of you have been commenting you don't exactly like the format on it, but what I will say is I think these buttons down here are a little bit more intuitive with how they look with the controls, and then the things that they go to menu-wise, I like a little bit more than the previous version, and it's just as responsive as the previous version, so you don't really lose out on anything. And then also with the apps, all of that is really easy to use. So for example, I can organize it by categories, or you can just go into everything, and you guys can see all of it just functions really well. And that's all for the display. So we've got the dial shifter right here for the 8-speed automatic. You've got your 2-wheel drive, your 4-wheel auto, 4-wheel high, and then 4-wheel low with the true neutral. And then you've got your auto stop start just down below. Got a bunch of USBs right here, and then you've got some extra storage space with a full power outlet. And then you got the Ram logo here on the center console, and then you guys can see the storage space here with the USB. And then we've got, of course, the RAM measuring tables, and then notice the center console slides backwards and forwards, and that's all for that area. Now I've got the glove box over here. Notice we got the Laramie logo, and you guys can see all of the storage space with both that, and then you can see all of the leather and stitching here on the dash with the Laramie package as well. And then finishing things here at the top, we do have a power sliding window there for the rear. No sunroof on this particular one, but we do have the universal garage door openers, and then you got the drop down for the tailgate, and that's all for the top. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. As you guys can see visibility of the hood through the one mirror. Say hi to Corey. Hi. We got visibility through the other mirror, and then throughout the rest of the rear. And that all being said, let's set off. So we are setting off here in the Ram 1500 Laramie Sport. And first off, let's talk about the road noise and the ride quality. Again, this has the 20s, so this is going to ride a little bit different compared to the other Laramie that I reviewed, because that one only had 18-inch wheels. And I can tell you, you can perceive a slight difference. This feels just slightly harsher, right? You got a little bit less sidewall with the tires, and so you definitely do feel the difference. But again, if you don't drive the trucks back to back, or drive trucks for a living like me, you're probably not going to be able to tell the difference if you bought one or the other. They're both going to feel like really nice, smooth, luxury trucks basically. And that's the benefit you get with the 5-link coil suspension in the back end. It may not be as good from a payload capacity perspective, but it does give you a much smoother ride quality. So getting up here, we're going to get kind of a partial throttle acceleration. So we're just barely getting on it. Definitely good torque from the 5.7 Hemi. So some people complained in my last video, and there's no one behind me, so I'm gonna be able to do this, that I didn't do the acceleration from a dead stop. So we're gonna get all the way to 0 miles an hour, okay? And then we're gonna kind of, ooh, truck spun out a little bit, sorry. So I guess I can report, based on what just happened there, that The e-torque does definitely work off the line, because in a regular 5.7 Hemi, it does not spin the rear tires like that. So again, sorry to the truck, but we had to test it for the video's sake, I suppose. And with that being said, let's just get into summing things up here with the truck. So first off, exterior wise, I love this in the Hydro Blue. I think it looks fantastic. I really like the Sport package. Now you guys know I'm a little bit more on the side of the Night Edition, even though I'm not a huge fan of like the black grille itself. I like the blacked out badging. I think the chrome badging, it looks good, especially with the chrome wheels, but you guys know I'm a little bit of a fan of everything all blacked out and sportier looking. So I think the Night Edition is the route to go, but I think the Sport package still looks fantastic. Interior wise, the Laramie is good as it ever has been. Still have, you know, nice features like the 12-inch display and all that, and this new infotainment system works great, so no complaints there. And then from a driving perspective, right, smooth, it's comfortable. The e-torque does make a difference off the line, and we just discovered that with a little bit of tire squealing action. But I guess if we're going to give this a final score, I'm going to give this a 0.5 above the regular Laramie. This looks better. It's about the same price as the Laramie that we reviewed. The other Laramie, it was $62,000. This sticker's for $62,000 as well. And I think this truck looks better, has most of the same stuff as that Laramie. It's missing a couple things like the running boards, but those are really easy to add. And so overall, again, I think this is just 0.5 above, and then I guess we'll wait till I review a Night Edition, but my guess is that one's going to be another 0.5 above. So that'd be like a whole 1 point above a regular Laramie. Now let's get some things up for our video on this 2022 Ram 1500 Laramie Sport. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Dodge Ram here in Sandy for giving me some time with the truck. Check out the inventory link below. I'll see all of you in the next video.